26th of February and it's goodbye Djibouti. That's Tulularuby weighing anchor. We've just weighed anchor, and as I pan round, you'll see a flotilla of yachts ahead of us. There's Golden Spirit, in front of them is Candiva, and we understand Sans Per is out there too. So basically a convoy heading north to Port Suez. Wishing everybody a safe sail, and we'll see you all in Suakin. So it seems there's a mass exodus out of Djibouti today. The local supply ships are also leaving, and as I pan round you'll see Golden Spirit ahead of us and Candiva, and quite honestly this was one of our worst stops ever. I went ashore once, got as far as the docks and never went ashore again. It was so filthy dirty. Roy was unfortunately the one that had to do all the grocery runs and deal with the officialdom, because I wouldn't set foot off the yacht. And I believe it was pretty much consensus that this was our worst stop ever. Goodbye Djibouti. Welcome to the 1st of March. We continue our very slow progress northwards towards Suakin and ultimately Port Suez, and we have really done no sailing at all since we left Djibouti. We've been motoring for days and days on end, but fortunately the Red Sea has been kind to us for the most part, in that it's been light winds and flat seas. We had about 14 hours of rougher weather, but other than that it's been nice, flat and calm. We still have Tulularuby with us, and Golden Spirit is out to our starboard side somewhere. Tulularuby's behind us, and we're all just continuing north. Last night we had a little bit of drama. Started off with a few fishing boats behaving rather suspiciously between ourselves and Tulularuby, and anyway we just got over that, got the sails up, looking forward to a nice night of sailing, and the next thing was we were redirected by Navy warship operations. We were told to change our course and keep a 3 nautical mile closest point of contact from a vessel that we had seen anchored in front of us. And we understand Golden Spirit got the same instruction, but they were directed in a different way. They had to keep 6 nautical miles CPA, and they were directed to go north. So yeah, that went on for hours, and when that was all over we found ourselves in the middle of an anchorage full of cargo ships. So Elaine then, it was her turn to come and watch, and she weaved paw through all these anchored cargo ships. Eventually we came out the other side, basically around sunrise this morning. So it was a night of all sorts, but all's well and we continue onwards. After worming our way through all the scattered reefs on the approach to Suakin, Sudan, the darkness of the night gave way to an overcast dull morning. Fortunately though, as we approached the entrance to the harbour, the low cloud burnt off, revealing a bright sunny day, and the sights before us was nothing like we'd ever seen before. Besides the exposed reefs everywhere, the landscape was completely devoid of any greenery, just flat desert sand as far as the eye could see, with the exception of the usual sights of a harbour and fishermen to greet us. So today is the 3rd of March, and we've eventually arrived at Suakin, and even though we've been hailing the port control for the best part of an hour, we've had no reply, so we are heading in. Here's the entrance, and as you can see all around us it's flat as a pancake. We have Tulularuby and Golden Spirit behind us, so we're going to head on in, see what happens. The best was yet to come though, and as we motored further down the channel, the ruins of the historic city came into view. So this is the inner harbour, and we've made a left and a left, and this is the old Suakin ruins. This is the old hotel and the old mosque with the minaret still sticking out. And we're just snaking our way through the waterway here, trying to avoid the shoals. Well, I certainly have no words to describe what we're looking at, but this ahead is the ruins of the old city. It's really just rubble. And then as I scan around, it looks like there's people living amongst all of this. There's Tulula Ruby just arrived, Golden Spirit. Just try and zoom in here. There's sort of homes that people might be living in amongst the rubble. I'm sure there must be other parts to this place, but this is it for now. Thankfully, the officialdom process was more efficient than any of the French islands we visited in the Caribbean, not to mention the most professional and friendly service we had ever experienced. Impeccable, actually. And by 11 o'clock, we were cleared in, diesel had been arranged, we had our SIM cards, and everything was paid for, including our clearing out fees. By the afternoon, our shore passes and $100 of local currency were available for collection, and our diesel had been delivered. With shore passes in hand, we dinghied ashore to meet the guys off Tulula Ruby and Michael off Golden Spirit. By now, Elaine was desperate for a walk to stretch her legs, given that she had remained on board in Djibouti, and what a fabulous treat it was. Not only were the people so friendly and welcoming, but we actually couldn't believe our eyes. While Djibouti was definitely the worst destination we've ever stopped at, Suakin was definitely the most fascinating. As Roy indicated, apart from the evidence of plastic and cardboard lying around in some areas, one would never have known we were wandering through this city in the 21st century. It truly felt like we had been transported back to biblical times. Suakin was first mentioned by name in the 10th century by Al-Hamdani, who indicated it was already an ancient town at that time. Starting out as a small Bija settlement, it began to expand after the abandonment of the port of Badi to the south. The Crusade and Mongol invasions are believed to have driven more trade into the region, supported by a number of references to Phoenician merchants residing in Suakin as early as the 14th century, and the city was considered the height of medieval luxury on the Red Sea. Looking at the old city today, although in ruins now, it was easy to imagine just how beautiful it must have been. As we wandered through the streets, we encountered the carpenter and his shop, the sandal maker, the saber sword craftsman, the various shopkeepers, the charcoal maker, the tailor, the greengrocer, the water delivery service by donkey, the baker, and all we needed was a candlestick maker. It's fair to say the entire experience was surreal. It was over a cup of coffee that Roy stated, "Never in all my life did I think I would be having a coffee in Sudan."
There's the water going.
second trip ashore was to explore Suaken Island, where the old city was first built before being extended over the causeway. Both outings had us shaking our heads in wonderment, but it was a real shame that these beautiful coral stone buildings, apparently garnished in seashells during their heyday, were not preserved, or indeed that the area has never been declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site, given the incredible history of this city. We were, however, pleasantly surprised to learn that restoration work had commenced through private foreign investment, evident in some of the buildings that we saw today. Our second outing was just as special as the day before. Since being a Friday and a non-work day, we encountered people out enjoying their weekend. In particular, a lovely group of ladies who invited us to join them for their picnic lunch. We declined gracefully, but the boys of Tulularubi were well settled into the warmth of the welcome when we returned to Pawpaw for an early night. Taking with us the memories of this wonderful experience, we also got to take heaps of desert sand with us too. It's going to take a month of Sundays to clean Pawpaw, no doubt.